Okay, so I'm going to walk you through solving one of these interference problems like on the homework and the review and stuff like that, because they're not too bad. You just have to figure out like where they're going to be after the time it gives you. So I've got two waves, and both of these waves are going 1 meter per second, right? So 1 meter per second here, 1 meter per second here, and I've got meters down here. So as the problem begins, they're both going 1 meter per second. What's the shape after 2 seconds? So there's two ways to approach this. I could either take this wave and shift it forward 2 seconds, and then take this wave and shift it forward 2 seconds, and then draw the result, right? So that would put the front of this wave right here at 3, and that would put the front of this wave from 0 to 5. That would put the front of this wave at 7, right? So one will be at 3 and one will be at 7, and I could draw them again, right? And then I could do the interference pattern, right? But that's, to me, that's a bunch of work because I have to redraw the wave twice. Instead, I'm going to use relative motion, right? So like we've talked about, if I've got two people in the hallway, right? We did this at the very beginning of the year. And both these people are going 1 meter per second, right? If they're both going a constant speed, that's the same thing as this person moving 2 meters per second and this person standing still, right? From a frame of reference standpoint, this is the same as this, right? So what I'm going to do to make this easier, I'm just going to pick one wave, and I'm going to draw that wave going 4 seconds, or twice as far, right? Instead of shifting this one over a little and shifting this one over a little, I'm just going to take one and shift it over double the amount, okay? So I'm going to shift this one over 4 seconds, right? Because, or 4 meters, I should say, because after 2 seconds, it's 2 meters for both of them, right? So I have to shift 4 seconds. So that means I've got to go to here, right? So I'm going to draw my second wave in blue, right? So let's go do that. So I'm starting here, right? Because it was at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it's going to start here, right? Okay. So it goes over 1, right? Over 1, and then it goes down, over 1, down 3. So over 1, down 3 is to here. And then it goes over 2. So over 2. And then it goes over 1, up 5. So over 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Up 5. And then over 1, over 1. Over 1, up 3. So over 1, up 3. Go like that. Over 1, down 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1. Okay. So all of this wave, I just shifted over, right? So I'm going to do something so I tell it's not there anymore, right? So I'm just going to cross it out. So here's my two waves now. Okay. So let's go through and draw the sum of these two waves. So I've got to draw it up to right here. That's where I stopped. Okay. So sum of the two waves. So here nothing's happening, right? So here there's nothing to cancel out, so it's going to look like that, right? So here, there, and now I start getting some interference, right? So here, this wave is at -1.5 is at 0, nothing happens, right? Because 0 doesn't do anything. Okay, so here, see how these two kind of cross like that? These are both negative. So basically, I need to make this get bigger down here. So what's going to look like is kind of like that, right? Because see how right here, they're both at like, I don't know, that's almost 1. So I'm going to put it down at almost 2 because they're both at about 1. So I'm going to double it, right, to 2. So it's going to go to 2. And then this is a half. And the other wave is at 1.5. So that's going to go to 2. And then here, where are they? Right here. So this is at 0. And that one is at 1, right? So it's got to go back to here because there's nothing from the black wave to cancel it. So it'll go up to here. Right? Okay. And then same thing. There's nothing here to cancel the other wave, right? This whole wave is at 0. So all of this is going to stay the same. So like that, like that, like that. And then that's it. There's my wave. Right? So you had to redraw it first And then you have to go through, and I mean, if you want to, you could do points too. So I could just go look at each point. So this point here, 1.5 plus 0 gives me 1.5. 0 plus 1.5 gives me 1.5. Down here, right, let me see if I can do this with two hands. The black line is at 1. The blue line is at 1. 1 plus 1 gives me 2. So I'd do a dot here. Over here, negative 1/2 plus negative 1.5 gives me negative 2. Draw a dot. Negative 1/2, same thing, right? Draw a dot. Over here, plus 1 and 0, plus 1. So if you draw dots, you can connect the dots. However you want to do it, right? But it starts with redrawing this correctly. And then it's just a matter of drawing the interference pattern, right? And so even if you're doing this, say on a test or something, you can do it and just look at parts. And sometimes you can look at the answers and see which part works out. But not too bad.